Hi, this video is going to show you how to create a OneNote class notebook. Many teachers use class notebooks and they can be used in a million different ways. I use them in all my classrooms. This video is going to show you how to use it to allow you to work collaboratively with another teacher, so you could collaborate on lessons, pathway projects, a special ed teacher if you have a co-teacher, and it'll show you how to use OneNote to keep your resources organized. So when you're setting up lessons, you know exactly where all your resources are. OneNote can also help students easily locate and access all their resources and materials. So they're not losing anything, they're not forgetting anything, everything is with them in class where and when they need it. It can also be used to differentiate lessons. You can use checklists and graphic organizers to help students who need those to keep organized, and you can put different assignments in different student notebooks. So every student is working on assignments at their own level and no one knows what the other students are working on. So to create the notebook, you are going to do that in Office 365. So here we are at Office 365 homepage. You'll notice that one of your apps is called Class Notebook. So here this is like the homepage for Class Notebook. So you can create a new notebook. If you have existing notebooks, you can add or remove students if new students come into your class or students transfer out. You can add a teacher, and you can manage your notebooks. So for this, we are going to create a class notebook. So the first thing it wants is the name of your class. I always name it kind of strategically so I can easily keep track. So I always put down what block it is. So I'll pretend this is for D block. And it's DLC, Digital Literacy and Citizenship, Semester 1, and the year 2018, 2019. And I'll call this an example, just so I know that this is not a real notebook. And you can name it whatever you want to make it easily recognize which group is this for, what year is it, what semester, however it's easiest for you to organize. So then when you're making the notebook, automatically inside every class notebook there are 3 sections. One is called the collaboration space, one is the content library, and one, they call it student notebooks. So for the collaboration space, everyone here can work together. The teacher can see this section, all the students can see this section, and they can see changes that are made in live time. So this is perfect for brainstorming, creating a list, creating groups, and it takes a little bit of patience, because when the students realize, oh, everyone can see what I'm typing, sometimes they'll type goofy things. The content library is where the teacher materials go and the kids can see it, but they can't edit it. They can't make any changes to any of the work. So I always call this, I used to leave like a stack of papers at the edge of my desk, and when the students came in, they would each take a paper, and that would be their classwork or their agenda. So this is the same. They can look at it, they can see it, but they can't make changes to it. And the student notebook section, each student has their own personal notebook. The teacher can see that student notebook, but other students can't. So those are automatic sections. So we'll click next. And we could give another teacher permission to use this class notebook. So if you wanted to give your department head access to it, or if you work with a co-teacher, this is the spot where you can add that person's name and they can see and use the notebook. And they have the same permissions that you do. And here's where you add your student's name. So if you type the last name of a student, you'll see that the name pops up. So I'm just going to do test student because I don't want to share this with any students. It's just an example. Now in this section, it's asking you, what do you want inside each student's private notebook, the personal notebook space? And it gives you some ideas. It gives you handouts, class notes, homework, and quizzes. I personally don't use sections with these names, so I just make my own. The sections that I make, let's see, we can uncheck these, so these will not be included. These are good sections, I just don't use those. All of my notebooks have a student section called Resources, and I will show you in this video what is in each of these sections. They each have a section called Anchor Activities, and they have a section called Classwork. So those are the three sections I have. If I gave quizzes or if I assigned homework, I would usually probably keep these, but I don't. So I go to next. And then this is a preview of what the notebook would look like. So this is the teacher's notebook. So from my point of view, I can see there's a collaboration space and a content library, and I can see my test student. If I added more students, their names would all be listed under here, but I only added one. From the student side, they can see a collaboration space, they have a content library, and then here's that student section, and here are the sections I just added. One called resources, one called anchor activities, and one called classwork. So this is exactly how I want it. So I will hit create. So here we are in the notebook, and this, I didn't want to copy and paste all my materials into that sample notebook that I showed you how to grade. So this is a notebook that I already had from last year, but I can use this to show you what I would put into a brand new notebook. So the first thing I want to show you is what I call today's agenda. So it's in the content library. So if I click here, I can see the content library. And the content library, again, this is teacher materials. The students can see this and they can flip through all the pages, but they can't make any changes. Nothing in the content library can be edited. So you don't have to worry about a student changing the date on something or deleting material. These resources are here. Students can see them, but only teachers can edit them. They can't be deleted, added, or edited in any way by the students. So this is what I was talking about when I said I used to have a pile of papers on the corner of my desk, and when my students came in the classroom, they used to each take one as they came in. Now I just have this in their notebook. So the first thing I love is my daily agenda. So it has a section called Today's Agenda. Now let's pick a day. So here is on Monday, February 5th. This is also when the students walk in. This is on the smartboard for them to see. And this tells them what they're doing today and what's happening. So the first thing they know, they should sign into the computer, log into Office 365. The classwork, they could earn up to 75 points. They're going to be syncing Outlook to their laptop, and they're going to make sure that their login information chart is complete and updated. And then it also tells them to earn their professionalism points, which are also 75 points. They need to bring their Minuteman laptop and it needs to be charged. They have to be cooperative, respectful, and make the best use of class time. So that's one example of a daily agenda. Let's look at a different day. So here is the daily agenda for March 19th. So when they come in on March 19th, they know they open up their notebook, they flip to the correct page. So Monday, March 19th, it says they should log into the computer into OneNote. They should double check that their assignment is in the right spot. It tells them where it goes. It tells them to go to a new section, and it gives them directions. And again, this is on the board, so they can also see it there. It gives them their assignment. So today for classwork points, they're going to begin their computer buying project. They're going to be filling in 2 charts. It also reminds them of their professionalism points. And then here I have the unit that we're working in, the name of the lesson, the essential question, and the learning objectives. And I have this on the daily agenda for every day because I feel like sometimes the students look and see like, okay, I have to double check this, I have to go to a new section, but it doesn't reflect back why are we learning this? What is this for? So I want them to remember this is part of their computer buying project. So the point of the lesson is, how does the computer user's needs define which computer is right for him or her? And it gives the learning objectives. So by the end of the lesson, before the bell rings, I try to go over these so they can make sure we hit all of them. So are you able to predict which components are useful for different types of computer users? Would you be able to analyze the needs of a computer buyer? And could you design a computer appropriate for a certain computer buyer? And then this I started doing at kind of the middle of last year because I realized some students like to know what's coming up this week. So they want to know what we're doing today. Tomorrow we're going to be continuing the project. Wednesday the project should be done and we're going to start a new project. Doesn't mean we always get to all these things on time. Maybe we got to this on Thursday or Friday, but this is my general plan for the week. Also in the content library, besides today's agenda, I have a section called resources that I want to show you. And these pages are all exactly what it sounds like. They're resources that will be helpful for the students during the semester. So in the beginning of the semester, I give them information about this class. So here's the syllabus. There's a grading policy, my grading scale, how this class works. And this is stuff that I've gone over with them, obviously, in the first few days of class. But now they have it as a resource to use all semester. And if their parents have questions about the class, this information is right there in their notebook on their laptop that they can look at. And besides general school things, I put things in here as the semester goes on that they can use in this class or other classes. So for example, when we were learning about copyright, I end up giving them a list of links to websites where they can use free images without worrying about copyright license. Or before they do their timeline assignment, I give them an example of a timeline that I did and instructions. So resources is exactly what it sounds like. It's a bunch of pages of resources that the students might need as they go through the semester. And then my favorite section is called When I Was Absent. I think I might change the name because I realized students don't only miss work when they're absent. Sometimes they're in class and they still don't do the work or they don't finish it. But last year I called this When I Was Absent. So this is a section and each page has the date. So you'll see this was January 22nd. We can make this a little bigger so you can see. So we did a pre-assessment. Let's just say March 12th. This was computer components. And you might notice sometimes the same day is listed more than once. So here, April 11th, and April 11th. They each have a different assignment. I found it was too confusing for the students to go just to the one day and have multiple assignments. So each assignment gets its own page. And you'll notice that some days don't have, they're not here. So like May 3rd, that means either we didn't have class that day or we had class but we didn't do an assignment that either needs to be made up or maybe it can't be made up. But in any case, so the students know if they check Aspen and they say, oh no, I have a 0 for February 6th and I want to make that up. I don't want to have a 0 because all my students say that. They never want to have zeros. They can click on this page and this is the instructions for what we did in class. And if there are any resources they need or links, it's all on this page. So let's see another example. Here's a link to a Nearpod lesson. It has the code. Here's a link to a checklist that they did in class, and I'll go over my checklists after. So they know they go to whatever day they missed, they do the work. Here they would have to watch a video, answer the questions in the form, and then they're creating a timeline. But the problem was when they did the work, I didn't know that they did it. I mean, if this work was due February 6th or April 9th and it became May, I wasn't going to go back and look to make sure they made it up. So there's a form that they fill out. When the students click on the form, it opens up in the full page and it looks like this. So it explains that this is the makeup work for quarter 4. If they submit an assignment after it's due, they should fill out this form so I know to correct it and give them credit. And they have to do this before one full school week before the quarter ends. And that's just so I don't get 100 forms the last day of the quarter. And I also note that as soon as they submit it, it doesn't mean I'm going to have their grade updated in Aspen. Sometimes as soon as they hit submit, they go to Aspen and they think the grade is going to be changed, but it doesn't quite go that fast. So this tells them what is your name. It asks for the class block, and then they can check off whatever assignment that they just turned in. So maybe they're doing avatar voting and their Netiquette Nearpod. And then in case I did not update the form, if their assignment's not listed, they can just add the name of the assignment and then hit submit. And then I have the settings on this form set to send me an email whenever someone submits a form. So then I know that someone submitted it, I need to go grade it and update it in Aspen. And this has been a huge help in having the students keep up with missed work, and they know where to find their missed assignments and they know how to turn them in. It's been awesome. So I went over most of the sections in the content library. Now let's look at a few sections under the student private notebooks, their personal notebook space. So let's look at classwork because I want to show you some graphic organizers. So the classwork is where I put the students' assignments for the day. So they know when they come into my classroom, they log into Office 365, they open up OneNote, they look at today's agenda, and then any assignment that they have will be in the section called classwork. So one example that they might see is a page called What is a Computer? It's Sway with a quiz. So this is a presentation called a Sway, and then there's a built-in quiz. And it's nice because the Sway embeds right into OneNote. They could click on this link and open it in a new tab, or they can just click on this and they can watch the Sway, flip through the pages. So there's a video for them to watch, some questions to answer, and then at the end there's a quiz. If they have a project, they would complete the project. This was an online project, so they would paste the link here, and then I know when I'm grading, I come to this page and I look at the link, click on it, and I can grade the work. So sometimes the students need help staying organized. So I give them either checklists or graphic organizers. So let's look at, so first of all, one way I keep the students organized is for an assignment like this, the meme assignment. They had to create a meme, and it had to be about netiquette, and we did a whole lesson or two on netiquette. So this helps the students stay organized. They know exactly what they need to do. So first they're going to go through this lesson. They're going to go to this website and create 2 memes. Each one will have a different rule of netiquette. Each one will use a different picture. It needs to be appropriate. You would think to yourself, you don't have to say that. They know that, but I need to say it. Then they're going to copy and paste the memes onto this page right here, and then they're going to explain it. So this helps students who have some organizational difficulties. A checklist like this makes it so easy for them. It has a link to the lesson. They don't need to go find it. They don't need to search for anything. They just click, it takes them to the lesson. This takes them right to the website. They paste them on the same page, and they have the explanation. So the whole lesson, even though it involves 2 different websites and 2 projects, they're creating 2 memes and they're explaining them, everything ends up on the same page, and they can check it off as they go. So if they do this, they check that off. All right, I did this, I did this. So then if they go home and they need to finish, they know exactly where they left off and what they need to work on. So checklists like that are very helpful for some students. And I also have checklists for them to see what is due and what is not done. So a lot of times, you know, at the end of the quarter, there's surprises about grades because there could be zeros in Aspen and they haven't looked at Aspen for a little while. So this is my way of saying, don't come complaining to me, please, because you know exactly what is done and exactly what isn't done. So this is telling them, go to Aspen and check. Look at your computer vocabulary project thing link. Did you complete it? Yes or no? Did you properly submit it? Yes or no? So if you see that you have a 0 in Aspen for this project, you have to go back and look. Did you finish it? And then check off 1, I finished it. Did you submit it properly? Oh, maybe I thought I was supposed to email it to you, but I was supposed to share a link. So this will help them keep that organized. The parents love this. Another example is, it's similar, but it's the same. Same idea. So did you complete the assignment? Yes or no? This is the assignment, and then this is how they were supposed to turn it in. Because I realize sometimes they know how to turn it in, but then a few days go by and they haven't done it and they forget. Was I supposed to paste a link somewhere? Was I supposed to email the answer? Was I supposed to just leave it right on OneNote? So this gives them the chance. I did do this one. I did this one. Oh, I don't know if I did that one yet, etc. So this is very helpful for students. I notice a lot of my kids, when I go through their IEPs, it says that they need checklists and graphic organizers, and this, I put this in everyone's notebook. Some students, I require that they do it if it's in their IEP. Some students, I require that they do it because the parents have asked me to require them. And other students, it's there as an option. Some of them like to do it. It just keeps them organized. Some have no interest. Another thing that I wanted to show you about OneNote, especially kids who have executive functioning issues, if they lose things. With OneNote, there is no way that they can say, I lost the assignment, I can't find it, I left it at home, because it's all right in OneNote. So for example, if we look at privacy videos, so for this assignment, this was in May, I asked them to choose one video, and they were going to watch the video, and after that they were going to answer the questions. And then I just reminded them, if they click this, the video will play right here, but if they want to watch it in full screen, they can click the link. So they watch the video, and they pick whatever one they want, and then it asks which one did they watch. So they put the answer here, write a summary. So I'm just asking them, put it into your own words. So if someone hasn't seen the video, they'll understand what it's about. And then ask a question about the video. So instead of telling them, go home, look on YouTube, find a video, or here's a link to a video, go find it, and then come back to your notebook, and on this page, write some questions. It's all right on the page. It makes it so easy for students who are not organized, and it makes it impossible. They can't say, I couldn't find it. It's in your notebook. Of course you could find it, and the directions are here, and everything is on the same page. Another great thing about the class notebook is you can distribute work to your students. You can send pages to the whole class, you can send pages to certain students, and that allows you to give different students different pages, but maybe they have the same name, so the students don't realize that their work is different. For example, let's look at the timeline. So the students were asked to create a timeline after we went over the history of the internet. And they were asked, so we watched a video, they could include 3 of those dates, but they needed 8 dates total. So on their timeline they had to have 8 different dates and explain what's the importance of that date. So for some students that was a lot. So some students, their page looked exactly like this. If anyone looked at it, they wouldn't notice a difference, but some students, they say you need at least 6 dates total. So when they're doing their timeline, they realize, and the rubric will reflect that. So theirs will have 6 dates instead of 8 dates. But if students are kind of working next to each other and someone just glances at the page looks virtually exactly the same, just that one number is different, and that allows students to work at their own level and do what they can do without other kids noticing that their work is different. Another example would be an avatar assignment. I asked them, when we're talking about how you represent yourself online, they create avatars, and I give them 3 websites, and so a lot of the students look at all 3 websites and they pick the one that they like best. For some students though, to look at all 3 websites and make their choices, decide which one they liked better, they would just get lost. They would spend too much time comparing or exploring. So for those students, I gave them one choice. So it just said, use this following website to create your avatar. So again, those students didn't realize that other students had a choice of 3. They went to their one website, they made their avatar, and they were done without distractions and without wasting time. So now that I showed you what OneNote can be used for, I'm just going to show you quickly how to do some of those things. So you'll notice that I have a tab called Class Notebook. If you don't have this tab, there's a link that you click to install and download the add-in for Class Notebook, and I can give you that. All you have to do is email me or let me know that you need the link. You can also Google it, just called Class Notebook Add-in. But I already did that, so I have the Class Notebook tab. So when I click on that tab, I have some options. So here I could also create a new class notebook right from here. I can add and remove students, teachers, and manage notebooks. But for my class, there are 2 things that I do the most. So the first is distribute a page. So if I have a page, let's look at my resource page. I don't want to distribute anything because my former students have access to this notebook, so I just want to be careful with what I do. So let's just say I wanted to send them this page, how to earn points in my class. So I'm on the page. I clicked on the right section in resources and I clicked on the page. So if I go to distribute, so it's asking me, I told it I want to distribute this page, and now it says where do you want to distribute it to. So I will click classwork. Just let's say that was for some classwork, and then I click distribute, and it would show up in each student's notebook. I'll show you. So if I hit distribute, And sometimes it takes a minute. They'll say, I didn't get the page yet, I didn't get the page yet. You can tell them to sync their notebook or just refresh the page, and then it will show up. You can see the progress. So right now it's distributing that page to each student's notebook section. And it should be in classwork. So let's look at classwork. And I don't see it here yet, but it will be, oh, here it is, points in class. So there it is. So if you make a page in your notebook and that's what you want, so I do that every day. That's basically how they get their classwork pages. I just design it in my notebook and then I send it to the student notebooks. And another beautiful thing is, let's look at, and you can also distribute a new section. So when it was time for us to do the computer vocabulary project, I just did distribute new section. I named it computer vocabulary project. I hit send and everybody got that section. You could also tell the students we're going to create a new section and show them how to do it. Sometimes it's easier to just create it and send it to them. Now, review student work. This is how I grade my assignments. So this is one of my favorite parts of Class Notebook. Okay, so I want to review student work. So I'm going to click on review student work. And I'll choose this section. So I'll pick classwork because that's where most of their work is done. Most of the work that I'm grading. Choose a page. So let's look at the meme assignment. So now this lists my students. And I can just click on it and this is how I grade it. So I will click on Hannah and I can go to her meme assignment and I see, okay, she has 2 memes posted and she explained both of them. Now I can click on Marley. He also has 2 memes. He has an explanation, but he didn't actually explain anything, so he would get partial credit. But I can see that he did it. Click on my next student. She has 2 memes pasted in and explanations. So this is how I grade it. So I don't have to flip through, go to everyone's name, find the assignment. I tell it what section, I tell it what assignment, I click, and I can grade them. This is a rare assignment because it looks like everybody did it, but they all like memes, so that's easy. So that is the easiest way to grade work. You just go to review student work, choose your section, choose your page, it lists your students, click on it, and you can mark it in Aspen as you're doing it. So I've showed you how to use OneNote Class Notebook with your students. I also want to show you quickly how to use it with other teachers collaborating. So I'll open a different notebook. I'll go to my digital arts. So this is our Pathway notebook. So you see digital arts and design Pathway notebook. And this is for our Pathway. It was shared with all of the teachers in the Pathway. And it's how we organize all our work as we're working together. And then when we meet, it's all in the notebook. We can look it over. We can look it over before we get to the meeting, so we're already prepared. So here's where we share content and ideas, proposal ideas. Here's our final proposal. They made a section for our specific contributions. So we each have a page and we can click on what we'll do in that page. Here's just minutes of all our meetings and videos. So what's great about this is our Pathway. We could share this with a different pathway if the 2 pathways were working together to do a project. We could share it with students if we wanted students to be involved with this. So it shows how you can organize information and resources easily shared, easily organized, and it's perfect for collaboration. So if you have any questions, always let me know, and I hope you enjoy using OneNote and OneNote Class Notebook.